Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Catching Up. I'm your host, Lauren Kalil. If you like to listen to us chatting about CrossFit news and everything that's going on in the sport, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. On today's episode, we have Anikha Greer. Anikha, I can imagine that it's been quite an emotional roller coaster the past couple of days with everything that went on with your score not being submitted on time.
Yeah, definitely. That's that's one way to put it.
What are some of the emotions that you're feeling now, a couple days removed from the chaos that went on?
Um, Still a bit in shock, I think, just at like the situation and the response. Just kind of like you can't really like imagine that you don't really believe that it's real because it seems so simple. Um, yeah, I'm still in a bit of shock, a little kind of numb right now. I feel like I've gone through the whole 5 stages of grief in like 2 days. So I'm a little numb right now. Still in a little bit of shock for sure.
So what happened? Walk us through, from the chaos of quarterfinals, all of the workouts to the moment you realized that your score hadn't gone through.
Yeah, so we finished a day early. We finished it on Saturday. Just because of our time zone, we were able to crush out some workouts on Thursday. So we were done a whole day early. So yeah, Saturday we hit the workout. It was at like 2 p.m. Finished it, was really, really happy with how I executed and performed that weekend. I was so, so happy. But it had been like a very exhausting 2 weeks and a very exhausting weekend. It's that environment was so obviously so, so, so different than anything I was used to. So mentally, I was just kind of like fried. And so happy to be done, right? It was kind of like, all right. And I think I was disappointed with the one workout. So I knew I wasn't really like keen to see the leaderboard because I knew I wouldn't be as high as I wanted. So I was kind of just like, all right, we're done. Finished it Saturday. Brett immediately uploads it to YouTube through WOD Proof. It was private though. He sends me the link and I like upload it. I remember vividly filling out, like copying and pasting the link and then going back because I was like, oh shoot, the link load the whole way, putting it back in, changing it from CrossFit 782 to CrossFit Camp Rhino, like filling out all these things. And to my knowledge, hitting submit and then closing down my phone. And there's been people like kind of ripping me apart on the morning chalk up comment section being like, there's no way she got off her phone for a whole day. It's like, no, you're right. I wasn't on my phone. I just wasn't on Safari checking my dashboard. So yes, I was on my phone, but I wasn't actively checking anything. So and again, and I obviously maybe that was a big mistake, but yeah, no. So I submit it, and then we go out, and we go out to dinner. We're like having fun on Saturday. Nobody's really thinking about competing anymore because we're all just done. Next morning, we come in, and the deadline's 12 this afternoon. So we're watching people hitting redos, like cheering, and I'm like just getting, because I'm done competing, I'm getting so fired up for everyone else in the gym. Like Raf redid the workout twice back to back because he thought he could go faster. Like it's just, now we're just kind of having fun. And then we go out for breakfast. So we all kind of go out as a group and we're just going to get some food. And then I remember, so I'd been just like very preoccupied. We were doing lots of things. I wasn't just like sitting on the couch waiting for the leaderboard to come up. We were like cheering people on. We were going out. We were kind of doing things. And then we're sitting, eating, and it was 12:20, 12:15. And I remember thinking, oh, I wonder if the leaderboard's going to go up faster this time because it was the last one. Because I know it takes like an hour. So I was like, I'll check, like just in case, I'll check. So I open up my Safari, I guess, for the first time since yesterday, and my dashboard is up. And I'm like, strange. And I'm like looking through, and it says 1, 2, like workout, like score, submission history, whatever your dashboard says. And then at the bottom, workout 5, and it's empty. And I remember looking at Cooper and being like, Cooper, where the fuck is my score? Like, what is going on? And he's like, what do you mean? I watched you submit it. And like nobody else is really listening at this point. They're just like, whatever. Because obviously everybody watched me do the workout and submit it. There shouldn't be an issue. And Cooper is like, what do you mean? And I'm like, my score is not on my dashboard. I don't know where it is. And he's like, what? Like, anyways, we're all confused. We all think I submitted it. I obviously remember vividly submitting it. He's like, did you take a screenshot of it? And I was like, no, because I always do. Like, I have screenshots of workout 1 through 4, and I did not take a screenshot of 5. That was, yeah. And whether that be because mentally I was like done, preoccupied, exhausted, whatever, but I did not have a screenshot of 5, and obviously like full ownership of that mistake because that was stupid. Anyway, so yeah, and at this point we're not freaking out. We're kind of like, all right, this is something's up, email them. I'm like, I know it's 20 minutes past the deadline, but the leaderboard still isn't up. So maybe like, you know what? It's like nothing's public yet. So anyway, so I shoot them an email, just CrossFit Games support. I'm like, hey, I am so sorry. Something's up with my score. I submitted it, but I'm not seeing it. I know I should have checked earlier, but like this is just what I happened to notice. Can you please help me? And they basically answered and said, no, we're not taking any new scores at this time. And I said, okay, I recognize that, but I did the workout yesterday. Here is my YouTube video link. Here is all of these things, like, help. And it was basically like, no, same answer. We're not taking any videos. We're not taking anything at this time. And that's when I started kind of like freaking out a bit. So I called Cooper and I was like, Coop, they won't help me. And so Cooper's like, all right, I'll deal with it. So then Cooper starts calling people. And immediately it's not looking good. Yeah. So he basically initially called the friend we have in there, and she said, I can't do much, but I can flag her email so it gets looked at quicker. Cause we just wanted it sorted before the leaderboard came out so we could be done with it. I guess she did that, but again, their response, we had no inside, like we had nobody on the inside who deals with like the decision-making process, I suppose. So we start calling people. Danielle starts texting Dave Castro, and Dave, which is hilarious Dave would have loved to help, but he couldn't do anything. So he just gave us some people's numbers. And we got Adrian Bosman's number, and Boz basically just said no. He didn't do it in a foul way or anything. It was just like them's be the rules, no kind of thing. And we were like, oh, we understand that, but rules are there to make things fair. And that's not fair. You know what I mean? That's what rules are there for. And they're not doing their job right now. Anyways, yeah, so we're just calling person after person. We're trying to get in touch with Justin Berg. We finally get in touch to him. Long story short, I'm not really part of all of this. I'm letting Cooper, Brett, and them deal with it. I'm just having panic attacks on the side. Anyways, and then they get through the Justin Berg, and I don't actually know what their conversation was like, but I know they had a meeting at HQ, whether it be not just about my case, but a couple other people having the same issue, maybe just mine. It got talked about. And I got a call the next day, and Coop was just like, we were just in shock. Like, he didn't know what to say. He was just like, I literally tried everything I could. And he's like, and they're not, like, they won't budge. And we were just kind of like, at this point, we're just like so in shock because the punishment and the crime, it's not lining up. Like, we thought this was going to be a non-issue, where it was kind of like, all right, we're so sorry. Anikha has been doing online competitions since she was 14 and has never had an issue ever. I have never gotten a penalty. I have never put a score in late. Like, I have never had an issue until right now. And we have all of the proof in the world that I did not cheat. And it was just like hard no after hard no. We were all just kind of like, what? So yeah, and that's kind of where it's ended. Is now we've tried to get Brent, like, in the PFAA involved, which is kind of our last hope. But Justin, I don't think, is talking to them until Friday, and the leaderboard is supposed to be finalized by the 1st, which is that today? I'm pretty sure.
On Friday, they said the earliest that it could be finalized, but we know in the past that CrossFit has sometimes needed more time to finalize things. And I think even what we're seeing with the penalties from videos, that maybe it's going to take them longer to finalize everything by Friday. I would say that I was shocked because we had you on our recap show on Saturday evening, and you were so excited. You told us, I was done. I put my phone away. We're getting food now, and
we're having snacks.
Right, we're having snacks. We're just waiting, I guess. So my question is, you typically train in Canada alone. For the quarterfinals, you went to Vegas to train with the Underdogs crew. Were people not communicating with each other, saying, hey, make sure you double check your score, make sure you submit? Like, I guess I'm just having a hard time thinking of what the environment was, knowing that I would always check with my friends to make sure that they submitted their score.
Cooper and Brett asked me multiple times, like even Christian Harris texted our lab group chat. Everybody's like, put them scores in.
Mm-hmm.
I just had no reason to believe mine wasn't.
Oh, okay.
The fact I didn't double check is strange. It is weird. Like it's just one of those things where you just can't explain it. Like it just didn't happen. But it was like I had no reason, because I literally could vividly remember putting in each of those like individual, like 350, went back on the video, made sure it like lined up, and then okay, put it back in. I just remembered putting everything in so vividly. I had no reason to double check, I guess. And that like, and it's not for lack of people reminding me. I was just like, yeah, I'm done. Like I thought I was ahead of it. I was like, oh yeah, I got that done yesterday, kind of thing, you know? So no, definitely wasn't lack of people checking or lack of speed. It was just, yeah, I don't know what it was, a lack of double checking. And even it's like, I kind of joke, I'm like, if we had gone to breakfast 15 minutes earlier, and I had sat down for once and like checked my phone 15 minutes earlier, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because I would have been able to email them before 12.
Sure. I think you're in a super difficult position. I think that we can all agree with that. And as fans, as sports analysts, as people in the community, we all want to see the best people make it through to the next stage, whether it's semifinals, the games, or even from the open to quarterfinals. So I think it's difficult because we want to see you move on. We know that you have the physical capabilities to move on, but in the same breath, it's difficult because we want CrossFit to hold people to a standard. We want them to make the sport more professional. So it muddles the water a little bit if they were to make an exception for you, even though we all agree that your fitness deserves to make it to the next stage.
And I like, it's, my case is a flaming pile of trash, because it's like, I completely agree. Like I agree with the fact that CrossFit needs set rules and standards, but it's also tough because if rules are only there to be used black and white and like in this authoritarian sense, they're not very useful. Rules are no like substitute for common sense, I think. And they're not. And I'm like I'm not a very black and white person. And so I just think, and it's funny because like we aren't even asking for an exception. An exception would be if I said, hey guys, something came up, I can't do the workout until after 12. Like I'm just finishing the workout now, so I can't get my score in time. Like that kind of thing. It's like I did it early. Something happened when I hit submit and it did not go through, whether it be an iPhone glitch and the button didn't work and I did not notice, because I guess, like, you know what I mean? Like whatever it may be, I don't know, unfortunately. And I wish I did. Like it's not an exception. It was just like this little glitch that needed to be fixed. And unfortunately it got blown up way bigger than it needed to be, because the initial response was just so like door in face no, and it was like, hold on, but like guys, like listen. But it is such a tough situation, because I fully understand, like as an athlete who has dealt with CrossFit's wishy-washiness in past, like I fully am supportive of having set standards and set everything. But if you can't look at something as by case basis, then rules aren't fair anymore, because rules are there to promote fairness. And when you don't have the fittest moving on, it's not fair, right? So it's definitely a difficult situation. And I think they'd hit controversy no matter what they did, but I do think they're hitting a little bit more now than they would have if they just put my score in.
When you spoke with Brett Fikowski or other members from the PFAA, even though they aren't speaking with CrossFit until Friday, did you get the feeling that they thought you had a viable case and maybe something would come from this?
I don't know. I think the only way we're gonna resolve this, or the only way I'm gonna have a happy ending, is if the European athletes do too, because I know they had issues with their scores during quarters because of a time change. And so I don't know if they waited to the last minute to put their score in and then all of a sudden it was an hour too late kind of thing. I don't really know the details from that story. But I think the only way it would work is if whoever Brent, the PFAA, convinced them to allow all videos that were uploaded in the time frame. And I think that's fair because that's all the proof you need that the workout was done on time. Technology sucks, and when you're forcing us to compete online, you got to allow for some errors like that. You know what I mean? So I do understand that we have a full day that we have a full day to put it in, but it's like clearly you can do it a full day early and still have errors, right? So I think the only way I'll have a season, I'll have a CrossFit Games season, is if Brent and them can convince them that it is much fairer to just allow. And to be fair, when we say all the videos, there's probably like 10 people. Like it's really not going to change that much. There might be two, like myself and maybe like one or two others who are like in the top whatever, who are going to go to semis. Like there's really not that much to change. It would just be letting like a couple videos that people had issues with, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's kind of the only way for us to have a happy ending.
Yeah, I definitely think that if they make one exception, that just opens the door to, well, you have to make all of these other exceptions. And I can understand that maybe that's why, since you weren't the only one, maybe the only one with this specific issue with the technology or the score not loading. When you put in your score, what did you see on the screen? Did you see the green check that said verified? Do you even remember, or is that just like you blacked that part out?
Literally blacked that part out. Like it is the past few days, and it's such a shame because even no matter what I saw, I didn't take a screenshot of it, so it doesn't matter. But it's like I don't remember. My memory of the score is putting everything in, and then it's just so much happened between then and now that it's just kind of like I don't know. Like I honestly fully have no idea, which is a shame because that does not help me any.
Right. I was more just wondering if, like, in your brain, you remembered even though you didn't have a screenshot. I do want to go back to, I'm going to pull up your video, and I apologize to everybody that it's horizontal. Oops, not that way. There way. Okay. So we'll pull it up like this, but then, so you're starting your snatches. If I bring the screen down, it does say that, I know you mentioned something about it from public to private or private to public, because on here it does say that it was posted on the 29th, which was Tuesday.
Yeah. It's so that is really annoying, and I don't fully understand YouTube to be honest. Clearly, I don't have a very good grasp of technology, but yeah, it does say the 29th, and I saw that today and I started freaking out. I texted Brett. I'm like, people are going to see this video and they're going to see the 29th. Like, what is going on? And he sent me like 7 screenshots of like the insights you get on your YouTube page, but like this many people saw it from when you uploaded it, and it was uploaded the 26th. It's just that we made it public a couple days ago, so it had been private and like restricted, and you could only see it with a link until yes, or what day is today? Thursday. I don't even know what day it is.
Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Thursday.
I'm like, whatever day that was. It was private until that day, and that's why it says the 29th, which is a shame because that doesn't look good. But we have like a million screenshots of it being uploaded the 26th. And we even I emailed the link to CrossFit on whatever day that was, the Sunday. So
okay. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to clear that up in case anybody else goes and watches your video. And
exactly.
okay, the video was at least up on time, but based on the rules, we know that they said to at least get your score on time. Video is secondary. Unfortunately, that didn't pan out for you. But again, the leaderboard is still not officially official, so we could see potential change from this. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think that your CrossFit Games 2023 season is officially over?
I mean, it's grim. I'm trying not to hold on to much hope because we've tried, we've talked to the top, the top of the top. We have pleaded our case and received nothing. I'm hopeful for Brent, and maybe he can convince, because we were also pleading that my case is different from the European athletes, so we weren't advocating for them. I honestly didn't even really know about that until recently, but I'm hopeful for Brent maybe being able to convince them on behalf of myself and the European athletes so that it is a broad fairness. If they really want everybody to have the same rules, maybe that will appeal to them. But I'm not crazy hopeful. I'm starting to look at what my life is going to look like and look at different options that don't involve the semifinals and the CrossFit Games.
And just to briefly touch on all of the adversity that you have faced with getting so close to the CrossFit Games. It started when you were a teen athlete. It bled into the year of 2020 when all of those games tickets were revoked. Then last year, one spot away from making it through, based on the semifinal you were at the Atlas Games. What is it that keeps driving you to know next year is my year? I'm sure you tell yourself that every year.
Yeah. And I mean, the past few days have been very rough because this was supposed to be the year that I convinced myself that like good things could happen to me and I wasn't cursed. And that didn't pan out so well. So, I'm not going anywhere. It's tough because it's like I have to feel all the feels first before I can move on to the next phase. But I mean, I know I'm not going anywhere. I think what keeps me, I'm so young. I am so young. Like I'm 18, right? So it's like I haven't even started my career. Yes, I have had a heartbreak after heartbreak since I was 14, but I'm like still one of the youngest in the field. So my career hasn't even started, let alone ended. Like, you know what I mean? So there's still so much room for me that there's so many more seasons to come. And I also think, I mean, I told someone this, like, I'm not a very religious person, but there's some force that's controlling who gets the short end of the stick and who doesn't. And it is not fair. And I'm aware of that. But I told someone, I said, maybe this is just kind of the universe's way of preventing me from being mediocre. Because I'm fully confident in my ability that this year I would have gone to the games. Like I knew that in like, just when you have that gut feeling of like, this year I would have gone to the games. Would I have been top 10? Probably not at this point. I would have probably been top 30, maybe top 20. So I'm like, maybe this is just the universe's way of making sure that when I do get to the games, I'm going to be a top 5 podium contender, because I'm calling my shot right now. If I don't get a season this year, I'm going to try to podium next year. Like there's no way. This isn't going to happen for no reason. I don't know if I like the quote, everything happens for a reason, but you sure give the stuff that happens a reason. So if this is going to happen, I'm going to come back and podium next year, and I'm still going to only be 19. So, I mean, it's tough. And this is probably the first time that I have really felt hopeless. Because every year, like, people have always asked me, like, do you want to quit? Like, this is like, you must like just be so done. And I'm like, no, like this just fires me up for next year. I'm only just getting started. And this is the first time where I'm just kind of like, I do feel a little hopeless, but I know that won't last. I know myself well enough, and I know how tough I am, that I know this feeling won't last. And I'm just going to give it, honestly, knowing me, it'll probably be a week, and then I'll be back and we'll be fighting for the podium next year.
Yeah, and I mean, this did all happen so recently. It's still been less than a week. You have to feel all the feels right now. And just hearing you say how you're fired up, it gives me chills, because we all know that you are going to be something spectacular when you're standing on the podium. We're going to have the champagne bottles going crazy, and just knowing your story, there's always a silver lining, and I hope that it just gives you that fire, because the great thing is you're so young, you have so many years ahead for you. At this point, what's next for you? Can we expect to see you at CrossFit competitions through the season, when obviously like the games isn't the goal right now?
Yeah, you'll catch me in the parking lot at semis doing the workouts. No, there's definitely, I'll just do them alongside them from the back. No,
We'll have a tailgate around you. I'm here for that.
Oh no, I honestly, I'm one of like my biggest fears after this happened was like, I can't go back to PEI and just disappear for another year. Like I can't. This was such a big year for like my career as an athlete and just like getting out there. I was like, I can't take this step back. So we're gonna make sure that I don't just disappear for the rest of the year. While I do want to come out of nowhere and win next year, I am going to make sure that I don't just kind of disappear into the background for now. So I think we've already secured an invite to Can West, which is huge because that looks, they've got some big prize money. It looks like they're doing a great job of that this year. So we'll definitely hit that up. Just try to make a statement there. I know there's a couple other, like I think Madrid is in September, and I think we have, I don't want to say it in case it's wrong, but I think we have an invite there already as well. So there's definitely some off-season comps I'm going to do. I'm not sure if there's anything between now and Can West. If anybody's listening and has like a big comp that's happening between now
Hit
and
her
July,
up.
like hit me up because no, but I think this weekend, assuming my season's done, it's back to the drawing board on. We basically restart my season now, right? And we take a step back in training and shift our focuses again. But yeah, you'll see me in comps for sure. I'm not gonna disappear for the rest of the year.
Anikha, you are wise beyond your years. You might feel your feelings right now, but just the way that you speak and present yourself, you're a true class act, and I can't wait to see what you have in store for the next decade because this girl is
Yeah.
young.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. That means a lot.
Thanks, Anikha. Take care.